Welcome, Kyler. Thank you for coming. How are you?
They good. Thanks for the invite. I'm doing all right.
Hi, Kyler. Under these circumstances, I am really sorry to be speaking to you, but I'm glad that you are speaking out. And like I told you when I first spoke to you, girlfriend to girlfriend, you are doing the right thing. Thank you for making your post go viral. That's this is what she would do for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I do. I do. I hadn't talked to her in a long time, but that doesn't mean I don't care and wouldn't wouldn't want justice for her. And as someone who has big reach and even bigger reach now, which is crazy, but
It's good.
um, I just wanted to help get the word out, and I can't believe it's gone as viral as it has. I was not expecting that, but I'm glad that I can use my platform for good. And so many people are so comfortable speaking to me and trust me because it's an honor to be trusted with experiences like this.
Absolutely. And I read some of your posts and I know that you're no longer in the area, but you are familiar with the area. How did you tell us a little bit about you and Micah? How did you know Micah and a little bit about her?
Yeah, so I grew up in Myrtle Beach for 18 years. I lived there. I did move away, and then I moved back and was there for a few more. So I was there for 20 plus years. I remember when Micah moved to Myrtle Beach from Wichita, Kansas. She was the new girl in school. I don't remember if it was seventh or eighth grade. I believe it was eighth grade. But she was just so sweet, and everyone loved her, and she had a heart of gold, just like she did up until she died. Like, she really never changed from what I could see on Facebook and stuff. But um, she is everything that people have been saying she is, even back then. And like I said, I hadn't talked to her in a very long time, just because life gets in the way, and people move and everything. But also partly because she was involved with JP, and I I never met JP, but I heard plenty of stories about him, and that was all I needed to know. And I always knew from the start that she was being groomed and manipulated, and it was really hard to watch. Um, so I don't know. It's really heavy stuff.
Well, she mentioned in the alarming video that the most alarming video that she had to separate from people. And this is a tactic that most abusers use. They have to cut you off from people, and he says it himself. He read her messages. He didn't like people speaking to her, especially about him. So it's understandable. And she even says, I have to keep my circle small. But you are still in the know-how. You know people that have been with her in this small circle since she has been separating. And just to clarify, she left in February, correct?
Yes, she had filed for divorce in 2023, but she finally was able to escape in February fully, and she was being hid from him by a friend.
Yeah, I you had said couch surfing, right? It's like she was literally jumping from place to place trying to stay away from him.
Hmm.
Yeah. It I want to say that with everything that she posted, she she was trying to alarm people and she wasn't being vague. She was just being kind, but she was saying all the right things. She was letting people know he's abusing me, he's doing this, he's doing that. And then what I was telling Zav here was that, coming from a religious background, I understand what the baptism was. She was trying to wash away everything from before so she could just move on and not feel guilt about whatever happened with him, because, you can speak on it, but there was abuse in the marriage, lots of abuse. And she was trying to wash all that away to get started anew. This doesn't sound like somebody who was just going to give up. She was trying to move forward, and
No.
it's hard to leave an abusive relationship. So she was trying to move forward. She had made these steps. What, obviously, this is a what do you think happened, but also, this isn't just a what do you think happened. This is what do you think she was. Is there anything that stands out more to you that she was saying, hey, he's going to do this, versus, hey, I'm going to hurt myself?
So I have a screenshot in my phone from, again, an anonymous source, because I'm not going to reveal those for people's safety, but it is very credible, um, about a message that she had sent to somebody. about how I do not want to hurt myself. Sorry. I don't want to kill myself. He's going to do it one day and make it look like an accident or like I did it, something like that. I know that he's going to make it look like I did it. And that right there told me everything I need to know. I mean, and based on her posts and other screenshots I have seen from friends, she was excited about rebuilding her life. She would have never done this. There's no way. Not only is it not like her and was never like her because she's always been such a positive person no matter what she went through or was going through, but the pieces just don't add up. And the more that I uncover about this case and the deeper it goes, the more that I truly believe that she was killed because she knew too much and she was no longer involved with JP.
So I have a question. You were friends with her in high school? Is mine getting that right? Or
Middle school.
Middle school. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's been a long time since I talked to her. I would see her around town here and there, and we'd always say hey and hug, but I hadn't had a very close conversation with her in a long time. But like I said, I lived in Myrtle Beach for a long time. I have lots of connections there and lots of people I still speak to. So I know that they're not lying. I know that it's credible to hear from them and hear what she said to them.
From an outsider, when we go on her Facebook, we can only see certain posts because of, probably her privacy settings or whatnot. But I assume that on her public Facebook, it looks like she was probably more active. And I know that I went to 4 high schools, and you have to stick together with your friends through social media. And there are friends that I haven't seen in 20 years, but I would still consider them like, oh no, that's my friend. You can't tell me any different.
Exactly.
Because I haven't talked to them, but I can see everything. Or, everyone's telling me this and I know all this. You wouldn't be able to tell me any different. So I definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I wasn't even friends with her on my newer Facebook because I had revamped everything a few years back. I made a lot of personal life changes and made a new page and realized that I never added her back on Facebook. But I would see her when I went to town. I would see her in passing and stuff. And like I said, I still had contact with people that were friends with her and would tell me what was going on. And it was really disheartening to hear this news. And right away I knew there's no way that she killed herself. And also the interesting thing about this whole thing is that the only person that has said that it was a suicide is JP, because no news outlet or police or law enforcement has released a cause of death.
Thank you. I was saying that earlier. I'm like, nobody, how did he even know that? Or how did he have the right to say that? Nobody has officially said the cause of death.
Nope.
So yeah, that's messed up.
And I'd also like to clarify, I asked Kyler yesterday that although it says in the news that there has been an investigation opened, we can't prove where that was heard from, right?
No, we can't. And I found out this morning when I woke up that the Robson County Sheriff, department or detectives or whatever that are supposed to be on the case, 21 hours ago, they made a post about how they fell victim to a cyber attack and limited who can comment on it. And nothing has been said about Mica. And that they are getting messages and emails out the wazoo about Mica, but no statement has been released from them. And this is something I just found out 10 minutes ago that I posted on TikTok before I jumped on with you guys.
Yeah.
You don't think that John? You don't think he has connections with the law enforcement there, do you? That he can?
I do. I do, because all of the stuff that I've been uncovering with the amount of money that these people have and all their connections around the world, they had missions in Pakistan. They still have missions in Pakistan that are not actual missions. I have all kinds of stuff on that on my Facebook and on my TikTok. But they have, and I would not be surprised if a small department like Robson County, who I have been told by numerous people now as well who live there and have seen crimes happen there, that there is a very toxic good old boy system in place. So it would make sense that someone would pay them off to not speak about Mica or not even investigate altogether. So
And I was afraid of that. That's concerning. Dang
yeah.
it. They better look into it because there's too much. There's too much
There's too
point
much.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's too much. And I have, as of last night, I had a private investigator message me that I'm not going to name, but they were interested in contacting the family for to assist with this. And they said that they have experience taking down corrupt law enforcement as well. So
Nice.
I did put them in contact with the family. I'm not sure if the family has decided to utilize them yet or not, but they have been put in contact with them. So I really hope that something comes out of that as well.
Yeah, I hope that too. Did you see the protest outside the church this
I
morning?
did.
So
It was really, really beautiful.
yeah.
And I wish I could have been there, but circumstances are I don't live there anymore, and also for my safety, I wouldn't have wanted to attend either.
For sure. And I wanted to mention that if we ask anything, feel free to say, I don't feel comfortable answering that just yet. Because I
Sure,
am going to ask like just a few things that obviously you may or may not know, but just questions that I've been asked. Uh,
sure. Yeah.
you know, friends in true crime are saying, are we sure at all where he was on Saturday? Was he nearby? Because the way he made it sound was, oh, she was in North Carolina. He made it sound like it was so far, and from my understanding, it's only about 50 minutes away from Myrtle Beach. So is obviously we don't know everything, but where was he on Saturday?
So I have not been able to confirm where he was. There is speculation that he was apparently in Charleston at a ball game. I also heard that he was like questioned and like cleared, but there's nothing about that anywhere either. So it could just be rumors. Um, I don't think that he is stupid enough to actually kill her like with himself. I think if anything, he probably was not there and he hired somebody to do it, or someone in association with him, hired someone to kill her. I really don't. I don't believe that he. I mean, I think it's probably true that he was there, like in Charleston. I think that's probably true, but I'm not convinced that he still didn't have something to do with it.
And if you're saying, he was questioned and cleared, so this is all alleged, what we're saying that, it may or may not have happened, but
Correct.
everyone that knows her is saying this is not right. Everyone's saying that she has no connection to Lumberton, where she
No,
was found.
she does not.
But
I was told
has
by the
anybody?
family. I was told by the family, Mica's family, myself, that they do not have family in Lumberton. They have no connections in Lumberton. I've been trying to somehow connect the Millers and even possibly Troy Taylor to Lumberton, and I have yet to find any connections, but I'm still digging.
Do you know if law enforcement has spoken with any friends and family that were speaking to her in the days before?
I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find anything on that either.
Yeah, because that's a big question. I don't want to say that there's no open investigation if they're not asking, but most of the time, they will start questioning people, early on to see what they know. But also, they could have done it already and then told them not to mention it. So,
Right, right.
also her family. You mentioned earlier, private investigator, and that you had sent them to her family to see if they could help out. Are they already seeking some type of private investigation? I have a GoFundMe link. If Zav's okay with me dropping it, I will. But this is for funds for her family to travel to and from. But um, do we know if they're trying to raise funds for any private investigation, private autopsies, anything?
The only thing I know that they are trying to raise money for as of right now is a lawyer for what will probably be a very long and drawn out process. I do hope that they choose to use the funds for something like that as well. I hope they ask for a private autopsy, and I hope that they ask for some kind of private investigation services, because I would if I were them.
Do you know was Mica found in her car, or where was she found at the park? I'm a little bit confused.
I do not know, and nobody
Okay.
has been able to confirm that either. The only thing that we heard was what JP said on stage, was that she was found, and what did he say? Self-induced. It was self-induced. Also, her, I believe it's either her mom or her dad runs a public page, and they posted that she was found with a fatal gunshot wound, but we don't know if it was. We don't know about her car. We don't know about the gun. We don't know anything about that. And we also don't know like where she was shot. There was speculation about how it was the back of the head, but that has not been confirmed. And again, that was a family member of Mica's that told me themselves that that's not confirmed. But it has been confirmed that she was found dead with a fatal gunshot wound in the park. That's all.
Did she own a gun? Do you know?
We do not know. We have not been able to find that out either.
Wow.
Great question, Zab. I hadn't even thought of that. I don't know.
If she did, I'm sure it was for self-defense purposes, because it has also been confirmed by friends and screenshots that I have that she was being like followed and tracked. She found a GPS tracker on her car. She had her tires slashed. She was being stalked, but we don't know by who.
Man.
And like you said, they have ripe connections, and not to sound mob-like, but when you're involved in stuff like that, you don't want to get your hands dirty. You want to stay very clean. So if anything, you're absolutely right. It could, if any of this is true, that's very likely how it happened. I'm sure of it now that you're saying so.
Yeah,
That's
and
why I
I'm
hired somebody. Yeah.
I'm so convinced at this point. Like at first, I had a lot of questions as to like, well, maybe it was self-inflicted. She was going through abuse. Like it's very possible that she just had enough, and I'm sure that her mental state was not great after everything that he had put her through for so many years. But then I started making the connections in Pakistan and the connections in Jamaica, which is just now coming about this morning, and how the Millers have a long, drawn-out history of abuse of children in other countries, and how they have been using money where they shouldn't, and it's just this whole thing. And I, especially after the statement that Mica made to a friend that was hiding her, about how in the past JP had committed her to a mental institution because she found out that he was doing things with church money that he shouldn't. That's all that she said. But she knew too much. And I mean, this stuff happens all the time. And the Lumberton area and the Orem area where she was found is the perfect place to do that, because it's a corrupt area. And every single woman that dies in Lumberton, it's doomed as a suicide. Like every single one. If you do the research, yeah. I've had so many people on TikTok reach out to me, commenting, messaging, saying like everything you're saying about the Lumberton area is true. Like we don't go there. It's not safe. People die all the time by suicide, especially if it's a woman. Like there's no investigations ever done. There's never any answers. So whoever did this knew what they were doing, but I think that we're going to take them down.
I hope. Yes. Confidence. We will. You guys spread this, share. She has a TikTok. We should share your TikTok too. It's just
I'll make sure to share it.
Spread the word, because the more pressure that law enforcement has on them by us, then the more that they'll be likely to do something, if we pressure
Kyra,
them.
are you aware if ever when she was in the institution, I know when you get sent to institutions, when you leave, they try to send you out on medications. And do you know if she was ever on the medications that she was given at all? Because the way he said it was hard to get him to her. I
don't know anything about that comment that he made, but there is a video on her Facebook where she is, like talking, about her experience a little vaguely, not mentioning any names or anything, but there is a clip, I forget which video it is, of when someone tries to make you take drugs, and she looks at the camera like this. And it's definitely been suggested that she was forced to take medication.
Ah, I see. I was
Yeah.
assuming that it may have been, illicit drugs, because I was saying sometimes abusers that use illicit drugs will force it upon people. So then later on, if they say anything, they're like, "Well, you did it too," stuff
Right.
like that. But that makes a lot of sense. Forcing you to take drugs. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
Mica was never the type to be into anything like that. I don't even know that she drank alcohol. I don't know for sure because, like I said, it's been a long time. But she was very, very, very into church, and she loved Jesus, and that was all she was about all the time. And I don't believe that she would ever do something like that.
Yeah, I, you know, I get what you're saying, but when you're with an abuser, they will force you to do these things, and
Yeah.
you've heard of things that he was forcing her to do, that sexual and mental abuse. I
Yeah.
mean, he was forcing her to do sexual things and whatnot. And I have read, so it's just speculation, that he was doing drugs and that he owned a bar. So there's possibility that he was a drinker, and she does mention drinking in her video. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like if at any point, and I'm going to just say it, if at any point he was partying, he probably would guilt her into doing it, so she wouldn't be able to complain
Probably.
about him doing it.
Probably. Yeah. I have no doubt that that's possible.
And I'm not saying it's because it's not because it's within her character and that's what she wants to do, but it's because
Right.
of the
Right.
the manipulation tactic of it.
Yes.
And oh, let me speak on this. A lot of people are asking, did Micah have children? From my understanding, she did not have children, but he had children from previous relationships. Do you know how many children it was?
He has 5 children.
He has 5 children. And the age range?
I do not know that. I know the only thing I know for sure is he has an older son that is over 18. I don't know how old, but he, in January of this year, served time for domestic violence against his wife. He hit her over the head with a glass bottle. This is all public record. To my knowledge, he's either still in jail or um, he's out. I think he's still in jail. Don't quote me on that, but I've read so many articles and stuff. It's really hard to keep up at this point. But yeah,
I have an article on that Sarah sent me. I wasn't sure if that was because why does he have a different last name than his?
because his first wife had a different had a different like I don't know why the kid has the different last name, but
Okay.
I have confirmed that that's his son.
Okay.
And was she raising any of the children? Like were any of them at least small enough for her to have raised on her like as a like being a full on mom?
I do not know for sure because there was never anything, on social media. I never went to that church, but to my knowledge, like she had at least some interaction with the children.
Yeah,
I'm
and
unsure.
Here's the article here.
I'm
Go ahead.
unsure how the custody split is. I do know that JP's ex, Allie, has been very quiet, and I'm assuming it's because she wants to stay far away from him, and I don't blame her. And those of you watching this, especially if you understand how it is to get away from an abuser, please be respectful of that. Don't contact her or anything. There's no need to do that.
right.
Thank you. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I just, I believe it was in your post that she, this is a sensitive subject, and I hate to bring any of this up. I really do. But we have to kind of just touch on it all. Micah, we were saying she was groomed because she met him as her youth pastor in the church and eventually married him at 23 years old. Um, I'm unsure if she was married beforehand, but a lot of people are saying that they started dating while he was married to his wife and may have even been his babysitter.
That's correct. She was their babysitter for a time. I'm not sure how long, but also uh, even more disturbing thing is that Allie looks a lot like Micah, just an older version.
He has a type.
She looks she looks like Micah in 30 years, and so the fact that he went for a younger woman that looks like his wife is even more disturbing. And I didn't know that until yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
He mentions that something about a young hot wife while he was on stage giving a sermon. So we were touching on that earlier. He's just so distasteful. One more question about Mica, was she married previously?
I don't actually know that. I don't think so. Because I mean, she was really young when they started dating, and so
You don't
I'm
think
not
so?
sure if she was married previously or not. But I don't believe so.
I'm
And
only asking because
if someone knows and wants to correct me, please do. Like I said, it had been a long time since I spoke with her, but I don't think she was.
that's to clear up just a rumor, or I guess now a rumor that I had seen online. Can you talk a little bit about what you know about the restraining order, the protective order, if she had filed again for divorce?
Yeah, so the details on that are a little fuzzy for me. All I know is that a few days before she died, he had knowledge of the no contact order. I know that she filed for divorce originally in October of 2023. I heard that it was apparently like dismissed or something. I don't know how that even happens unless you're in a good old boy system in Horry County, like has been very prominent since I've been there, living there and stuff. But all I do know is that he had knowledge of this no contact order days before she died.
And so, she was trying to stay no contact with him, and she mentioned, having to stay away from people and whatnot. But it had been mentioned that she was planning to go to church on Sunday for the second service. Was she already attending a different church?
She was attending a different church. So that comment about meeting people at church, it's a different church. It's a
Yeah.
church in Little River. I forget the name of it, but it was where she had been baptized again. And she says on her Facebook herself that she did not have positive memories of her first baptism.
Yes, I had read
I
that
put this
that
up
she
lower.
she had
Or
mentioned it was her second one. Yeah.
go ahead. I just thought I'd put that up for some visuals. Yeah, go ahead, Amanda. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Great questions, though. Great questions. Trying to think of anything else that I wanted to ask. Let me see. I had a list that.
Have you spoken to her mom at all?
I have not spoken to her mom or her dad. I have spoken to one of her sisters briefly, and I believe her sister-in-law. I forget if it was her sister-in-law. There's a lot of them, so it's hard to keep track, and I've had so many messages. But I have spoken to family, just not her parents.
Are they? Her mom is with her dad. It's not the stepdad that's been posting.
So she has a stepdad and a bio dad that have been posting.
Okay. That we had wondered that.
Yeah. Man, I think you answered all the ones that I have on.
I do have one more question. I know you don't know JP, but some people had asked, is he a real pastor or is he just one of those self-induced pastors?
That's a great question. Like I said, I never went to that church. I don't know. I don't know the details on that. I do know that their church is not and has never been listed with the Southern Baptist Convention. It was listed as a nonprofit, and he has alluded to, in past sermons, he's alluded to like how much money he makes and how please give to the church like all the time, and even how the church has a private plane. So there's a lot of fishiness going on in all of it, and has been for years, but now it's just starting to be uncovered by.
I'm sorry if this is a dumb question, but so the church is his or his dad's?
The church is his. The church is owned by him. Yes.
Oh, so all this stuff with like the closing and shutting down of stuff, this is all him then.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know like who works with him or who works for him, whatever. I know that he also had a share in the dueling piano bar, Crocodile Rocks in Myrtle Beach, up until a few days ago when he sold his shares privately, secretly, or what he thought was going to be secretly. So now he has no ties to them anymore, and they have told people not to. People that work there, like, don't associate with him, don't talk about him, like, we're done with him.
And he's lawyered up, right?
I'm sure he is.
Wow.
And there's ideas that there's people out there saying that they think he wants to run. They think he's running.
They think so, yes. Again, like, there's no proof of that. I can't imagine there would be proof of that if he's wanting to, flee and whatever. I'm sure he wouldn't talk about it, but I would not be surprised if he already has or is planning to. I guess we will find out in 45 minutes or so, when this supposed memorial service is supposed to be at the church that he was supposed to be directing.
He's there.
Is he there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, then I guess he didn't flee.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just a rumor, it's speculation. I don't know if it's absolutely true. I had just seen something that said that a reporter had spoken to him about doing an interview, and when he spoke to her again, he told her he was going to be out of town.
Yeah, that happened a few days ago. I do know that there's one interview already circulating after the church service that he did. I forget what news outlet it was, but he was on video for that. I don't know if there was supposed to be another one or if that was the same one that he ended up doing. But in that interview, like, he's not even crying real tears. Like, you can tell that it's very fake and very, like, scripted.
What I want to know is, why is he trying to make it seem as if he and his wife were so close?
Right. As if people don't know that she filed for divorce and a no contact order. Like,
and we have screenshots of him in "Are You Dating Him" pages where girls are asking, "Hey, I'm talking to this guy," and recently, I'm questioning, "Are you talking to this guy? What do you think of him?" So on and so forth. And it's like, oh, so he was openly dating.
He
why
was.
Is he acting as if he was with her every single night and we would talk for hours, kind of thing?
Right. It's just, it all really doesn't add up. And like you said, the Are You Dating the Same Guy group, that it's very, I have multiple witnesses that say, like, they saw him on dating sites, or I have one friend of mine that did talk to him on a dating site, very recently. Wow. So yeah, I haven't said anything about that till now, but yeah, I have proof of that too. So I have a lot of things that I haven't even released or said yet, because I'm trying to verify before I do, and make sure that people are comfortable with me saying these things before I say anything. But my connections in Myrtle Beach, I've always wondered, like, one day maybe I would be able to do something with them, and I'm really glad that I can now.
I'm flabbergasted because I'm reading the comments that people are saying, and they're mentioning, when he was giving the sermon before he made the announcement, he was actually cracking jokes about being like,
and I do not know anybody, any grieving husband, like he wants to make himself look like, that could do something like that. No. Oh my God, if my wife died, I'm like getting choked up now. Like, there is no way in hell that I would be able to do that. I would be in my house under the covers for days, not showering, not eating. Like, I would not even be able to function. There's no way. And the fact that he got through 2 sermons, by the way, because they have 2 sermons every Sunday. Being able to do that, there's just no way. And the way that he talked more about her and her issues than he did about her death.
Yeah. It was disgusting. It was just gross. That was just so disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Very disrespectful.
He wouldn't have liked her to speak. He would never have liked her to speak about him.
No, he did things like that all the time too. Like, all the time. There are so many sermons online, and people have told me, like, what they talked about in church that day, like, that he would talk bad about her all the time, or like embarrass her all the time on stage. And it's very telling to me.
There's a Google review that somebody made that they were out to dinner with JP and Mica. And I'm not going to say I remember verbatim because I've gone through so much stuff, but that he was belittling her, in front of people at dinner. And
he did that a lot.
I have the Google reviews we're going to read after. I have a bunch of them, so we'll read them. But yeah, they are. I have that one. It's just, oh man.
Okay, can we touch on a little bit about the the girlfriend. So he has a girlfriend, and if Mica would have had a boyfriend, I'm sure he would have had something to say about it. What do you think about the girlfriend thing and her husband dying and all of that?
So I will tell you what I know and what I have been told. I have been told that they have at least been dating on and off since 2021. They were seen in public last year together with no one else around. I'm talking about JP and his girlfriend. And based on, you know, the statement from Mica that I have about how he used to make her watch her have sex with other people, like that, to me, that lines up too. There's no way that it's not a girlfriend, and she has tried saying that it's not, they're not dating or whatever, and I don't believe that either. Neither does anyone else. I mean, I know JP's kids. At least one of JP's kids is in soccer, and you know, and I had an anonymous soccer mom come to me and tell me, like, you know, she thought it was common knowledge that they were dating because they're so open about it in public. So it just doesn't line up to me. As far as Susie's late husband, his name was Chris. He died in 2021. He lived his life in a wheelchair because he was paralyzed after a drunk driver hit him. And so the story that I've gotten, that I have not been able to verify, I haven't seen a video of supposedly this video that exists of him falling into the pool and dying. Half of the internet says that it was an accident, and half of the internet says it was a suicide. Again, there's no way that he would have committed suicide because he was a public speaker. He was an activist. He was very, he lived his life telling people, telling kids about the dangers of drunk driving. And, you know, he had a zest for life just like Mica did. And again, he died in 2021 by falling into a community pool and drowning. That's the story. And I did some research on wheelchairs, on remote wheelchairs, this morning, actually. And there are ways to control remote wheelchairs remotely. Like another person could program it and control it themselves. Also, Chris was paralyzed, but he was also able to swim. So it just doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense to me. And
do we know if she was around? Sorry.
I do not know. Apparently she was not around. But after all of this stuff that has come out with the Millers and, Pakistani mission that doesn't exist and all the money they've made over the years, the fact that 3 people now are dead that are connected to the Millers. Chris died in 2021. Jerry Savelle, who was in partnership with the Millers for the Pakistani mission, he died 2 weeks before Mica. And now Mica is dead as well.
Wait, how did he die? I didn't hear about him.
So Jerry Savelle was an older man who was a very popular televangelist, did lots of evangelistic work around the world. He died April 14th of what has been said as a heart attack. But, no details on that really either. But he died April 14th, less than 2 weeks before Mica. I believe it was April 14th. It was somewhere in there.
Can I just throw it in there for the people that don't know that he also gave the sermon for his girlfriend's husband who just died, and they were already having an affair.
He did, yes. Word came out about an affair that he was involved in June of 2023. I'm not sure if it was Susie or if it was someone else. I'm assuming it was Susie. But people knew that he had an affair in June of 2023. And a lot of people left the church after that. So yeah. There's a lot of moving parts.
He's not giving off pastor to me.
No, there's a lot of moving parts. And the whole Jerry thing, it's very possible that he was just old and died. It's very possible. But it's also possible that, it's very possible to make a death look like a heart attack as well. So it's just, if you know what you're doing, there's no telling.
So I went ahead and linked your TikTok, and then I've linked the GoFundMe. Is there any other? I know they're doing a Justice for Mica. They're going to sell shirts and bracelets. Do we know? Is there a link for that one? Do you know?
I don't have a link for that yet. I'm hoping that I will be able to find it because I want a shirt and a bracelet. But yeah, if you want to give to the family, the best way is to that GoFundMe. That is verified that is going to the family. I verified that myself. That those donations will be given to the family. They have commented on their public Facebooks about how the money has already been able to be used for lots of flights from family from the West to come out for the service, to see her. And, at least 20 family members in Myrtle Beach have been given food and meals cooked and everything. And they also want to be able to use money for a lawyer. I just saw a question about, does the pastor have previous criminal history? Yes, he does. Yes, he has charges on him for a deadly weapon and assault on his first wife. Also, his dad, who we have not really talked about a whole lot. I've referenced the Pakistan stuff and everything. All of that is on my TikTok and on Facebook if you want to dive down that rabbit hole. But his dad has sex crimes against him in the States and in Pakistan.
Wow.
Yes, and he's also, the Millers are also connected with Troy Taylor. Troy Taylor was a pastor of Low Country Community Church 20 years ago in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. And he was charged for raping a boy, an underage boy. I have several messages of victims that have come out about abuse for him 20 years ago, and they never got justice either. So there are a lot of victims tied up in this.
Real victims
that have not gotten justice.
And I hate to segue away from this because it is such a big point in all of it. But you, just to clear up something, you had mentioned that they did stop a cremation and they have seen her. And I had heard rumors that he was keeping the family from seeing her. Can we clarify on that?
So originally he was keeping her body from the family. A family member told me themselves that they did get to see her. I do not know if she was cremated after that or not. I don't know that answer. I don't even know if there was an autopsy performed. I hope that there was. But the family did get to see her body.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just sharing screenshots as you guys talk about things because I collected so much stuff last night.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot.
Definitely.
Do we know if she had ever spoken about domestic violence?
She, again, like those videos on her Facebook before she died alluded to a lot of things. Abuse and divorce and all kinds of stuff. She never she was not a public advocate of anything like that. I'm sure because of who she was with. But if she was still alive and she was able to successfully escape him in the future, I definitely think she would have been.
Yeah, it sounds, I've seen screenshots of friends where she told a friend, thank you for warning me about my husband and being so graceful about it. Yes. And, for telling me that you could speak to me on it. And then the friend replied something very so sweet. Like, I was just hoping, eventually you would, I don't want to say what she said, but it was very kind what she wrote back. And I wanted to just jump in there and say, I hope more friends speak out, and hopefully the way she was reaching out to people in the end, she maybe spoke more about domestic abuse, domestic violence, and maybe had put, somebody's going to have, those texts of her saying that, because right now it's a he said, she said. He's saying she hurt herself, but it's only been a few days since she's passed, and there was a justice for Mica almost immediately. Do you know how quickly people started questioning things?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh gosh, it's been over a week now, but it was pretty quick. I mean, as soon as I found out about it, I knew something wasn't right, and I saw a few posts, but it was pretty quick. It was pretty quick. I found out she died on Saturday, and then by Sunday, people were posting, justice for Mica.
Yeah, that's very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And he had already planned a funeral by then, let's just say.
Right. That's the other thing is, okay, so your wife died on Saturday. Sometime in the afternoon is when her body was found. Sunday morning, you're preaching about the cause of death, the service, and you made all these plans. When did you have time to grieve? You're supposedly so sad and so distraught. How did you plan a funeral on a Saturday night and plan everything so quick?
He's so strong.
Right. He's so strong. He's such a strong guy. No, that's bullshit. I hope I can cuss on here. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you're fine. You're totally fine.
I've been doing so well, and I just let it slip. But
no, you're fine.
No, we get it, girl. This isn't even my girlfriend, and I get it. Like I told you, girlfriend to girlfriend, you did the right thing. You're like, let's make this go viral, and boom, like you did it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
This whole case like really hits close to home for me too, because I had a friend 6 years ago named Nicole who died of suicide. It was confirmed a suicide of a gunshot wound, and she was abused and isolated by her boyfriend for years, and so we missed her a lot. And I every day I wish there was something more that I could have done. And there will always, I think there's always going to be questions about that, because she wasn't in contact with any of us. He had completely isolated her from everybody. And it really hits home for me. And I've had other experiences as well that tie really closely in with this case that I don't necessarily want to put out there publicly, but I can do something about it today. And I plan to. And I had no idea that this was going to blow up the way that it did. Before yesterday, I had never even posted a TikTok. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm faking it till I make it, but she's worth it. And so are all the other victims tied up in this that are still alive and that have not gotten justice.
Absolutely. And it's not with it's not out of the scope possibility that people sometimes give up. Essentially, I don't want to say like
right.
They hurt themselves. They just you just give up. You're tired. It happens. And if this is ruled a suicide and we can't get charges put up against JP, at least we can out whatever is still bad within him. Like this man does not need to own a church. This man does not need to be leading people to anything. Like he can't even lead people to water. He should just go away, JP.
Right. And the one thing I want to say about Mica too about this is that I don't think that she would have it any other way now that she's gone. I think that she's definitely like looking down and is really proud of everyone and what they're doing. And I think that it would make sense that someone like Mica, who has passed away, like that something so good would come out of it, because good things do come out of tragedy. Every time there's always something good, and this is a lot of good.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite memory with her?
I do. So I'm going to try not to get emotional, but when she moved to Myrtle Beach, we had a mutual friend that owned a pizza restaurant in Myrtle Beach, and we went there for karaoke, and we sang karaoke together. And I remember a conversation that we had with her about how we had experience, because she was a singer. I'm also a singer. So we had common ground there from the start, and we both sang, and we just had such a good time. And we had a conversation about how, we had experience of other kids like being jealous and being mean because they were jealous, and how like she said, like, it doesn't matter, like it just doesn't matter, like it's okay, that people have good, like, different talents, and I just like hearing good singers. It doesn't go that deep, like everyone has a gift, and this is our gift, and I just love it so much. And she was just always such a positive person, and it was a really positive and happy memory with her.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Are you planning on doing any more interviews, or?
I am actually. I had one other guy that was interested. I did one yesterday with Justin on TikTok for the first time, and I have one this evening with True Crime Mama and Watch Keep at 9:00 Eastern tonight that I'm going to jump on.
Cool.
And hopefully there are more later. As much exposure as possible.
Because each creator has, like, you're going to be reaching more and more people as you do different channels. So what is your TikTok name again, so we could share?
So my TikTok is Kyler.not.Tyler1. I just put it in the chat.
I linked it right now.
Oh, thanks, Amanda. Okay, cool.
Okay, you linked it. Yeah. So that's my TikTok, and I only have a few videos on there because I'm new at this, but everything that I post, everything that I have posted on my Facebook is now on TikTok, and everything that I post on TikTok is also on my Facebook. So everything is cross-posted for people that don't use TikTok and people that don't use Facebook, and vice versa.
I was just going to say that you're allowing people to go to your Facebook for updates, and you're okay with people sharing what you share publicly.
Yeah, I have everything, about Mica public. I've gotten a lot of friend requests that I will not be accepting, but there's just too much, and I have to keep myself and my family safe as well. There's a lot of personal stuff on my Facebook that is set to friends only. But yes, all the stuff about Mica is public and will continue to be public. And people are able to follow my page for public updates rather than just send me friend requests. So everyone can see my updates. And I also want to urge, like, I know there are plenty of people out there that are questioning how valid my comments are, and that's totally fair. It is, but and people can choose to believe what they want, but people close to me would tell you, like, I'm not the type of person to spread false information. I'm not the type of person that is doing this for myself, or I have nothing to gain from this except justice for Mica and justice for other victims. And I am an advocate of domestic violence. I'm an advocate for religious abuse, especially because I've had my own share of that. And it's totally fair if you want to question my sources, but there's nothing you're going to say that is going to make me give up my sources, because these people need to be protected, and we're dealing with really dangerous people. So
it sounds like it. I you get this vibe as soon as you start reading about them. As soon as you see him, you get a vibe. I told Zav here, hey, there's this case, and I'm kind of I do more TikTok lives, and I was like, this case kind of intrigued me right away. Like, it's literally sucked me in the moment I saw Mica's face and the video. I, like, right away, it just pulled me in. This guy's a scumbag. There's something wrong. I'm not going to say for sure that he did it himself. I am agreeing with what you're saying, that if this is happening, he's going to keep his hands clean. And allegedly, if he wanted to hurt her, he would have somebody else do it. Again, this may just be ruled a suicide and we will never find out, but at least this man will be out of the church. He's going to be ran out. I guarantee that.
There's no way that some kind of change will not happen. Taking down corrupt law enforcement and government is a big task, and usually it doesn't happen. I hope it does happen, but at least most, if not the entire world, is going to know who these people are and what they've been doing. And hopefully, you know, their empire will crumble and it will be the last we hear of their abuse.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Mute. I'm on mute. Sorry.
All the time.
Oh my Lord. I was just saying, Kyler, do you have anything else you'd like to share before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. I think the other thing that I just really want to emphasize is please give to the family. They have been very quiet. They're grieving. They are experiencing a nightmare. And, you know, donating to the family is more important than donating to anything else right now. And do not donate to the church. Do not donate to Dare to Care missions. Do not donate anything that you see on the church Facebook or website, because that money is not going to go to Mica and her family. This family needs support. They need help. They need people's kindness. And they need to be able to have money to bring their family together for Mica, but also to take care of themselves during this time and to get justice. And unfortunately, that costs money. Lawyers cost money. Private investigation costs money. And they need that. So please donate to the family.
I went ahead and linked the GoFundMe again. And our friend Scott, who is actually from that area, wants to know, just to confirm, the psych admit, she said he admitted her, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Jeez, man, that's just a shame. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I should put that in the description. Wait, I don't see it. You said you shared the GoFundMe?
I just shared it.
There it is. Okay, thank you.
There, yeah. There's lots of comments coming in. I just saw a question about that. I'll answer real quick if that's okay. Was the church, you or Mica, aware of the pastor's father's allegations and arrest prior to all of this? I was not aware of that before Mica died, but we touched earlier on how Mica apparently knew that JP was doing things with church money that he shouldn't. I don't know specifics of what she knew, but I can only imagine that it was all of this.
And he has a plane, right?
He does. He preached 7 or 8 weeks ago now about a plane that was being donated to the church and how he was going to fly out of Myrtle Beach and wave to all of his haters.
No,
that came out of his mouth. That came out of his mouth on stage during a sermon. So he does have a plane that he docked in the Market Common airport for $70 a month, is what he said on his sermon.
Dang it! So yeah, he's got a lot of money to man.
He's one of those people. He has invisible haters.
Yeah, apparently. But now we're not invisible, JP. Sorry, but we're not invisible anymore.
Bye, JP.
And he does have connections to other countries too. That is kind of concerning.
Because of his dad and because of all of the fraud and all of the mission work that is not actually mission work. Yes, that church is probably worth millions. It absolutely is worth millions.
I went to her obituary and I read through comments, and there's comments from Kenya. People pouring their hearts out, so sad that she won't be coming back to visit them. And I'm like, pull at my heartstrings. Like, seriously, like, she doesn't seem, you can't get any nicer of a person. This man was doing all of this to her, and she's still, like, I was telling my friend, if you go back and watch the video, the song she's singing it for him, and she's saying, I'm gonna pray for you. You know, I'm not gonna talk smack on you. I'm praying for you.
That's how she was, and that's how she's always been. She's always been just such a kind person.
And she was trying to get out, and we all know that is the most dangerous time for a woman. And, you know, everyone's saying this isn't right. And we're not saying, hey, he did this himself. We're saying we're trying to find justice for Mica, whether it be for her mental abuse, physical abuse, SA abuse, whatever. Let's find justice for her, but also let's get down to the bottom of this.
Yes. I saw someone comment earlier. I am reading the comments, but way earlier in this discussion, I saw that someone commented that it takes a woman an average of 7 times to leave her abuser, and that's absolutely true. That is statistically correct. 6 times a woman will go back to her abuser before she escapes. And if that person was groomed by their abuser, the psychological damage that does to a person is unmatched. I cannot imagine what she went through for the last 15 years of her life. I can't imagine.
And it seems like she was taking all the right steps, because they say, to keep them in the dark, try not to let them know your steps. And if she didn't do it and he really did, him being served 2 days before would definitely be his calling card that, oh, she's really going through with this.
Yes, and we haven't talked about this either, but let's also make sure that people know that JP is diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
I did hear that. Okay.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of things that could have happened that we just don't know about.
There's so much more to this. And Kyler, if you're not busy, Zav and I want to, we want to keep touching on this. If you ever want to pop on, let me know. I'll be checking your page for updates. I don't want to bombard you with anything, but you said, if I got links, I'll send them. And thank you so much for, coming up here. But also, it's always so much better to get a personal touch. Even if you say, like, I haven't seen her since middle school. You know the girl. You know her in your heart. There's some people that you never forget. Like I said, I have friends that I haven't seen since high school, since middle school, and you can't tell me that they're not my friends. Like,
right. I've lived in 2 other cities before now, and done a lot of traveling, and I have a friend who is a missionary in France, and do I talk to them every day? No. Are they my friend? Absolutely. I love them to death. Like, I have a very large circle, and just because you don't talk to someone every day doesn't mean you don't love and care about them. And especially someone like Mica, she was a perfect example of God's love.
She was. Yeah, she was. She seems like an amazing person. This case just sucked me in like a day. I was like, wow, you just kind of like fall in love with her. She's like such a beautiful person, you could tell.
Oh yeah. And so think about like how that must feel for you at times 20 when you know her in person.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
That's why, I really am thankful that you even took time to answer my messages.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep so going. You did it.
Yeah. Oh, I will. I ain't scared.
I'm never scared.
I really appreciate all the comments and messages I've gotten about staying safe and everything. But on the subject of God, I feel like God has called me to do this for her. I'm not gonna try to pick apart the reasons why, but I am a person of faith. I've been through my own share of religious abuse and stuff. Being a person who is gay and grew up in the church and was shunned by the church and everything, I've come a really long way in my faith. And I have no reason to do this for anyone but Mica. I have a very full life. I'm a busy person, but when you're called to do something, I believe you should do it. And that's how Mica felt as well.
It's kind of where we're at too.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Kyler. Well, thank you so much. And hopefully we'll be in touch. I'll be checking out your TikTok, and good luck with your interviews tonight. Maybe I'll stop by, and yeah.
Thank you. I'm actually going to put my email in the private chat for you guys, because that's the best way to contact me, because, I won't miss it or anything for when you guys want to do another interview or contact me. But, obviously just don't give it out to anybody, please.
No, we won't. All right, Kyler. Have a good one.
I've been called worse.
Where did I even get Kara from? That's not even. I think I was looking at Sarah in the chat, and then I don't know. There's no.
I've been called worse. Usually I get called either Tyler or Kylie. And then
I can see
but then
Kylie.
also
Her TikTok
like,
is Kyler, not Tyler. So
right, exactly. And in writing, like when people see Kyler, they think I'm a man, and I'm absolutely not a man. I actually do identify as non-binary, but I'm not a guy, you know. So it's just funny. I've been called worse, and you know I've been called other names too. So
I think I may have even put Zyler a few times.
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. That's better than Kylie, or nothing against Kylie's, but
You probably get that a lot. I could see people like saying Kylie a lot.
I mostly get Tyler, especially in person when I'm introducing myself to people. I'm Kyler. Oh, hi, Tyler. No, that's not what I said.
Alrighty. Zyler, yeah, at the end of the day.